The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw Dating, preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, Nicole Hutchison, and Jess Navarez.
What it is? What's up? Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. In the SWBC studio, I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison and Jess Navarez. What it is? What's up, y'all?
It's raining. It's cold.
All right.
It's so rainy outside.
Yeah, the weather is gross.
Are y'all some of those
fan.
people that the weather affects you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does it affect you?
Yeah.
It's making me a little gloomy today.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sunshine, just raining.
It's just,
Well, it's bright in here, so it should bring a little...
I mean, this doesn't really feel like sunshine.
and it's been raining all day too.
Yeah.
It ain't even
Oh,
taking
we know.
a break.
I was standing in practice. I know it was raining all day.
The commitment that you
I was going to
listen.
say...
The things I do for that floating Dak picture, y'all, I still get hate.
What did you notice from practice today? I mean, I know Malik Hooker, he was limited.
Yeah.
Did you see anything from him?
I just saw him working with Britt on the resistance ropes, but that was really it. Practice was cut kind of short for what media could see because of the rain.
Yeah.
It was coming down pretty hard and pretty steady, and so at that point, they just decided to take it in. So when they took it inside, then we couldn't watch anymore, but didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary, if you will. It was just when the rain was picking up, they really couldn't do much.
Okay. Well, yeah, we have an updated injury report. Zach Martin did not participate. Of course, thigh injury. Tyron Smith still did not participate today as well. Back injury. And then Malik Hooker, he was limited. Another one that stands out, well, yeah, Rico Dottle limited. And, yeah, everybody else full participant. What are the stakes for if this team has to play without Zach Martin or Tyron Smith? I mean, those are two vets on this offensive line that we definitely need heading into this game, a game like this.
Yeah, the good news, I talked to Zach in the locker room today, and he said things look good for this weekend. He's very hopeful about it. He said there's still a lot of work to be done, and my best guess would be you're really not going to know until the Saturday walkthrough what exactly game projection will be. And we know that anyways, right? But I think your Saturday walkthrough, even maybe Friday, will give you a good indicator for both Tyron and Zach. I didn't get to talk to Tyron. I did talk to Zach. Zach said he feels good. But if not, he praised the rookies and some of the younger players as well. And even some of the older players that step in. And so he named Chuma and TJ Bass as two of the guys. So Chuma Edoga and TJ Bass is two of the guys that really take advantage of every rep that they do get when, both him or Tyron aren't able to step in or they're taking the veteran rest days. And he just said it's all coming to fruition. Talked to TJ Bass today. He said he's feeling good if he has to step in. Talked to Chuma today. Chuma said he's feeling good if he has to step in. So everyone's ready no matter what the situation will be with the offensive line. But the repercussions is those are your two veteran offensive linemen. Obviously, nobody's going to go in there and make an impact like they can. Yeah. But things are still set, and there's more continuity than you would think with these backups coming in because they do get those veteran rest day practice reps.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the biggest one that stands out is Tyron Smith. I think even from what you said yesterday, Jess, in regard to TJ Bass and him getting the snaps and stuff on these veteran rest days, I believe that he can man that spot. But Tyron Smith, whatever his designation is going to be important for this team and what they want to do offensively, especially with passing and obviously running the ball, which is something that I think they will emphasize on this game. I believe I saw Calvin say that if he's able to practice on Saturday, that they feel like he should be good to go.
Yes.
There's time. Mike McCarthy mentioned that there's a lot of time left. I just think he's so important, although I do think Chuma and those guys could come in and be okay. Yeah. This Dolphins defensive line has some firepower. They have some guys that can get after it, and you're going to need time to pass the ball and also establish the run in this game. But I will say, Nicole, you asked what stood out today at practice, and we didn't get to see a lot of practice, but what stood out was that they were in a padded practice.
Yeah, it's their last one of the season.
Their last one of the season.
Yeah.
To me, that tells me something personally. No padded practice last week. I actually asked some of the players, specifically Micah, what's so good about the padded practices, and he said it allows you to feel your fits a little bit more, especially as a defense. I think offensively padded practice helped, but I would assume that defensively it gives you a little bit more of a acclimation to maybe what the game is going to feel like, and just feeling yourself shed a little bit and do some things. I do think it matters, and them having the padded practice today to me stood out, and I feel like it does mean something that they did it today.
I would say, how do I word this? I would say it's also based on their schedule
it's
in
based
the
on the
upcoming
schedule,
weeks, because you have to keep in mind they have a Saturday game next week, and then you don't know if it'll be Saturday or Sunday, so they could lose a day. So
Tracking.
that was kind of
The reasoning.
the logic behind it. But I mean,
It could be good.
What better day than today to do it?
Yeah,
You needed
this week.
to do it.
If it's just scheduling, I'm happy that it fell
But-
this week, personally.
But to your point, they needed the pads today.
Yeah.
Is this something that they did last year?
Well, yeah, per the CBA, that they push down stuff, and now
Yeah.
the scheduling is different.
Yeah.
They only are allotted a certain amount. I just mentioned a short week, and it's kind of the reason why they had to. I just think it's convenient that if this is how it's scheduled, this is how it fell. And again, I think sometimes as fans and stuff, some things matter to us that don't matter to the players. So I really wanted to confirm if padded practices do indeed kind of set the tone for a little bit, and it sounds like they do respond to that pretty well.
And during the regular season, teams can only do 14 padded practices, and so you have to divvy that up between this long season, and so that means you don't even get one per week at some point, and so it was a little difficult even when you go back to that Thursday to Thursday stretch and that Thanksgiving stretch where you had the 3 games in 12 days, and so we knew there was one left, and it was I think very important to have that padded practice.
Yeah, sure. We'll break down Cowboys offense and Miami Dolphins defense in the second and third segment, but is there any hesitations from you all heading into this game at all from this team?
Yeah, I mean, again, talking to the guys in the locker room, they have a lot of respect for what they do over there defensively, specifically from the offensive side. But they have a lot of respect from what they do offensively. Yeah. And a lot of San Fran tendencies, a lot of the stuff that you've seen before, heavy motion. These are things that give any defense trouble, but they've given this defense trouble. So any hesitancy I have is the overall speed of that team, and you having to figure out a way to how to counter that. But then also, too, this is a huge test, as I said yesterday, when you talk about the coaching and just how the scheme is. And again, you've seen teams like this before. I'm looking to see how they adjust to this, and if they can't, then I think we will be having some other discussions on, okay, what's the likelihood of this becoming a problem later on. So my hesitancy comes from the scheme of this team, and also to on both sides, defensive and offensive, and also to how they respond, how they adjust, and how they handle the speed of this team. I don't think you're going to see another team as fast as this one. See how they do, and that does give me a little bit of like,
I think my I think my hesitation is will they be able to go on the road and start fast?
Yes,
that's a good one.
That's something that we have not seen, and of course we saw last year how they trailed behind early, and that's been a problem for this team. Now, do they have the ability to go out there and get on board first? Of course, but I don't know. That's something that I really want to see from this team, and I kind of have a little bit of hesitation for that.
I think for me, I don't want to continue to talk about the same issues that have plagued him for the last year, continue to come up right before postseason. That's what gives me hesitancy. Is we're talking about the run defense again. That's something we were talking about this time last year, talking about penalties, self-inflicted wounds, discipline. Those are things that, understandably so, without Jonathan Hankins, the run defense obviously was going to come back up. So I'm not going to be too critical of that aspect of it. And hearing him talk about Mozzie Smith today, I think was really interesting in the locker room as well. He talked to reporters and he gave really good insight on what realistic expectations should be for Mozzie in his rookie season. Even saying that himself, Jonathan Hankins, didn't feel comfortable being in the A-gap, living life in the A-gap until maybe halfway through his second season, he said.
Yeah.
And so I think being realistic with where Mozzie is and that it's okay and giving him that grace that this is a first-year player. Yeah. Yes, he's a first-round draft pick, but even Hankins said, like, there's a lot that goes on in this position that you don't just pick up right away, and that's okay. He said, I didn't even do that, you know? And so I think that's kind of an issue. But now that Mozzie has in-game reps, he has his first start under his belt, I really am interested to see how he responds and how he took criticisms throughout the week and how he took his critiques come Sunday. And then self-inflicted wounds. I really want to see less of that. I want to see less of that every week.
Yeah,
but
penalties were big last week, right?
No more explosive plays. Do not allow the Dolphins to extend their drives. Yeah. And then I just overall, I think something too is I want to see the Cowboys defense really contain this Miami Dolphins offense on third down. I think that's going to be a really big thing in this matchup.
And to your point, Nicole, you can't start fast. They tried to start fast last week, but you get the holding. You get the you get those things happening. So in order to start fast, they're gonna have to be clean. They're gonna have to be disciplined in this game. So yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna take our first break. You're watching Girls Talk Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that sixth ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
NFL Pro Bowl games are taking over Orlando, and the roster is up to you. Cast your ballot for the 2024, the new year is coming, Pro Bowl games, and vote and send your favorite Cowboys players to compete in the ultimate AFC versus NFC showdown this February. Vote now at DallasCowboys.com/vote.
2023 just gone up out of here, didn't it?
Time
doesn't
has
feel
gone by
real
so fast, y'all.
Yeah,
they said that
2024.
Off,
crazy.
Totally off subject. They said that there's been several psychologists that said that like our perception of time is skewed because of COVID.
Oh yeah.
And so because I just feel like I can't get my legs under me. I'm like, was it? It was just November.
It kind of and especially during football season, it's like January's a little bit more fast-paced. February, March, a little more fast-paced. April, you have draft. And then May, June, July, kind of a little slower until training camp really picks up. And then August, September, October, November, December, all mashed together. And you're like, what is going on?
Days are just like flying. Like, I literally forget the day of the week. Sometimes I'll be like, happy Thursday, and it's Saturday.
Well, y'all are my witnesses. I always ask Jazzy, what day is it for these reads?
Like, what?
Nah, this year did fly by fast.
Yeah.
Well.
But thank God for another year, though. Hello?
Yeah. I'm grateful.
Grateful. All right, ladies. It's time to dig deep. Dive into this Cowboys offense. And Dolphins defense. Of course, the Cowboys only one offensive touchdown against the Bills.
Ew. Yuck.
Can't
do that.
Yeah, I cannot do that. Taking on a very talented Dolphins defense. And, of course, pretty much teams, how they're looking at the blueprint of beating the Cowboys offense or containing them is run defense. Run defense. Run defense. Run defense. Run defense.
Yeah.
Let me get the point.
What was it? One more time.
Run defense.
One more time. I
Run
missed
defense.
That? Oh, there
Please.
Aisha's sick of me.
Y'all.
But no, for real. This Dolphins defense is 6th in rushing attempts allowed, 5th in yards per attempt allowed. Teams have not been successful in running the football.
Yeah.
Huge test for Tony Pollard, but we saw some big runs from him last week against the Bills. What are y'all looking to see from this Cowboys offense?
As cliche as it may sound, you could really have the same. I don't know what their game plan was last week, but the notes that I had last week and the way that I expected for them to attack this defense, the Bills defense, it's kind of the same way you should attack this Dolphins defense. And in regards to the run game, they've only allowed over 100 yards rushing in the last 5 games one time.
Say that again one more time.
They've
One more.
We couldn't hear you.
They've only allowed one game where they had over 100 yards rushing in the last 5 games. 93 against KC, 36 against the Las Vegas Raiders, 29 against the Jets. And 83 against Tennessee in that loss. These gentlemen rallied to the ball really well. They run too high shell, which is what the Bills do at a very high clip, second most in the NFL. They want you to play with everything in front of you. They're betting on you making a mistake. If you have big plays, you got to take advantage of them. I'm really looking for this screen game and stuff to get going for this offense because they do have aggressive ends that you can catch off kilter. We saw a down tick of motion last week. Did anybody ask if there was a reason why it was a huge plummet in pre-snap motion last week?
I'm not. I was. It was CD. So like doing the interview. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anybody asked CD. I walked in a little late to Dak. I didn't
mean to put you on the spot.
No, you're
like
good.
That.
No, you're good. No,
honestly, these locker room days, it all kind of meshes together in my head, and I have to go back and listen.
Yeah, I just wondered if Mike McCarthy addressed it either because it's a problem. Yeah. It's a problem when your pre-snap motion and stuff just goes away when you're on the road. Number one, pre-snap motion helps your quarterback get information so he can get you in the right spot. But it also gives you tendencies as you continue to go through the game and be able to read what's going on.
Yeah.
But with a team like this, again, they have a lot of speed. They have power up front. They have guys that run to the ball. Their linebackers are fast. You have to get them looking one way and going in the opposite direction. You have to create spacing. You have to create conflict in some way. You cannot just go out there and play stagnant as you did last week when you're going up against a good secondary and a good front seven. So for me, it's really them establishing the ground game, but also still taking those pass situations when they can, attack in the middle of the field and figuring some things out, because they just have to get in the rhythm, as you said, Nicole, because they can't get off to a slow start against this offense. Play some keep away, too. You're big on time of possession, and that's going to be important in this game as well.
And this is a unit that has 48 sacks.
They get after it, sis.
They get after it. Second most in the NFL, I believe.
For sacks per play.
Yeah.
Per pass play.
It's honestly crazy. What kind of test, which we don't really know if, of course, Zach said he should be okay for this Sunday, but let's say, hypothetically speaking, we don't have a Tyron, we don't have... I'm sorry, Zach. What type of challenge, facing a defensive front will that be for those guys like TJ Bass, Chuma?
I mean, it will definitely be a challenge, but I also think that's where the iron sharpens iron advantage comes in when you're facing the D-line that you have to face on your very own offense every week. Yeah. And they are getting a lot of those reps. And I keep bringing that up because every Wednesday for most of the season is a veteran rest day, and we talk about that every week. But those are the days where those guys are getting those reps. They're stepping in, they're plug and play, and guys like Zach and Tyron can afford to take those days. I mean, they have years under their belt. They know how to step in and be ready for game time. But those younger guys, or even a guy like Chuma, who has that experience but isn't necessarily your starter, he also has that experience with other schemes, other teams. And so it's obviously concerning because you see how absolutely dominant that left side of the line is when you have Tyler and then Tyron kind of working as that unit. We heard him talk about it earlier this week. But they are comfortable kind of with whatever shuffle they have coming in. I think what it kind of comes down to, and Aisha and I were talking about this off camera, is kind of the cadence, the communication within this offensive line, and especially, your center with Biotish and then Dak. I think that's going to get tested in this game a lot. Miami, their fans are going to travel well. It's going to be a loud environment. It's going to be a loud stadium. And so to have the cadence that Dak has, I want to see it carry over from what you see at home. And given it can't always be the same. That's why you have home field advantage. That's why your cadence works so well at AT&T Stadium. But I want to see that same confidence roll over on the road. And I think it's going to start with the communication right there as well. But overall, I mean, it's concerning when you don't have your starting offensive line in, right? But I also think what's more concerning is, like you mentioned, getting started early, and it all trickles back down to the O-line.
And here's another stat. Of those 48 sacks, 32 come with just 4-man pressure without bringing a blitz.
Yeah, they run a good mix of they run some zone, they run man situationally. There should be more favorable matchups in man when you talk about the nickel corner and maybe the opposite corner. One of the biggest things for this defense as well is that they're getting healthy at the right time, and the reemergence of Jalen Ramsey has been big for them because Cowboys, we were spoiled last year when Trayvon Diggs would man one side of the field. He legitimately almost takes away one side of the field. So it does make it easier for your other guys to fill in. Jalen Ramsey has played some really good football. He looks fast. He looks decisive. And so, things have changed for them, and they disguise on the back end and stuff like that as well. So to your point about the communication, it is going to have to be on point, and that's why I'm worried a little bit just with the loss, maybe the possible loss of Tyron. When you talk about your tackles, they're the farthest away. And one thing with Tyron is experience. Edoga, whoever is going to man that left tackle spot, if necessary, is going to have to be keyed in and locked in. So I wonder if they've been getting the practice reps this week if Tyron's not there. But to your point about their sacks, Doug, like they just have so many guys. Christian Wilkins is a 3-tech. He penetrates well. Andrew Van Ginkel, is that how you say his last name? I don't want to butcher it, my friend.
I remember the last time.
Van Ginkel, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Don't pull a Jess.
6 sacks on the season. He plays with his hair on fire. That matchup with Terrence Steele, with him rushing off the edge, could be huge. Bradley Chubb. And then they have another gentleman named Zach Seiler?
I think it's Seiler.
7.5 sacks from the DT position. Please. I mean, and you don't see DTs getting you don't see DTs getting sacks like that. So again, this is another defensive line similar to Buffalo that can get after you from really almost every position. You're not going to get a break like that. So not only is this, I think it's going to be important for this offensive line to establish the line of scrimmage quickly. We've seen that they gain confidence, and I think this any offensive line. When you can run the ball and be physical, which is one of the things that I think this team does well, you want to get up on these guys and wear them down as much as you can, to me, because when they most of these guys on their defensive line have such a high motor, you got to be able to take advantage of their aggressiveness, number one, as I said before, but also to be physical at the line of scrimmage. Establish the physicality. Let them know early it's going to be a long day if you're going to do it. And maybe you might see a tight end help out over there for that left tackle if that is an issue.
Is there a matchup that concerns y'all the most? I was thinking maybe CD and Jalen Ramsey if he's lined up against him.
That's not a... See, what's up?
There's just not a specific matchup that concerns me. It's... And this sounds so cliche, right? But coming off of that loss is how they bounce back as a whole and where things start to trickle down, because it was just such an uncharacteristic game. And the more I kind of have heard the guys out in the locker room to peel back the layers of what happened, I don't see it playing out like that again.
Yes.
It's just... You have to rebuild that confidence. And what I don't like, if I'm being very honest, is I don't like that there's not a straight up answer to why winning on the road is so difficult. That's what I don't like, is you ask anybody and there's just not an answer. It's confusing to me because there's a reason. It's not just happening repeatedly. It's not just happening. But, you know, Mike talked about this morning the importance of that 11th win. And he's been saying that since last week, that they're focused on getting that 11th win. And, you know, though they have their playoff berth and postseason pretty much, well, it is a done deal at this point.
Yeah.
It's just what worries me the most is this is your biggest challenge on the road.
This is a big game.
This is your biggest challenge on the road the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And at this point, I know it's hard not to think about because of what can still happen, especially when you're talking in terms of the NFC East and depending on what happens in Philly and kind of how the cards play out that way. It's hard for me not to look at this game. And this goes for the entire team. It's not just the offense. I'm kind of diverting your question a little bit, so I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
It concerns me that you don't have a solid answer for why you can't win on the road. And even if they do win on the road, say they win on Sunday, it doesn't erase the fact that they haven't been able to on a consistent basis this season. And more than likely, you're going to be on the road come, honestly, probably the first round of playoffs. So to me, it's just concerning overall. Getting this road win is not just important, it's essential. It is vital to get that pulse going so you have a full-on heartbeat by the time the playoffs come.
And it's crazy because I actually, when I was sitting down with CD today for my interview, I had asked him, how frustrating is it for you guys after a loss like that and all the losses? You know, you stack up against these teams and, I mean, come on, we know that the Cowboys have one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. They have some of the best coordinators, some of the best coaches. Schematically, they can beat any team. But how frustrating is it for you guys, you know, to lose a game like that knowing that it's a game that you should have won? And he was like, it's frustrating as hell, you know, like, because you know that you're so talented, but it also shows that talent don't mean nothing. Yeah. So, I thought it was pretty cool that, you know, he was so honest with that answer. But now it's just like, y'all just gotta go out there and play.
Just
you know,
go do it.
Just go and do it. Just like y'all come home in AT&T Stadium and light things up. Like, go out there and do the same thing.
Yeah, and to your point, you mentioned that the Dolphins fans will be in attendance. Should be some Cowboys fans out there too.
Yeah.
A little heavy. So maybe that'll give them a little boost here and some actual Cowboys fans in the stands. I wanted to go back to your original question. The biggest matchup to me that makes me feel is Vic Fangio versus Mike McCarthy, and how Mike McCarthy comes out with this game plan and also counters some of the things that Vic Fangio decides to do. One of the best defensive minds in this game. He has this defense, a lot of veterans, so they're smart.
Yeah.
So there's things you can do with them that maybe you can't do with a younger secondary or younger defense. That matchup to me is very important, the OC versus this DC, because again, this scheme is important.
Yeah.
To your point about them being a talented team and all that stuff, yeah, they are a talented team. Talent don't matter if you're getting out schemed.
Yep.
Talent don't matter if the looks that you're getting in are favorable for the defense or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So the game plan, fast start, as you said, is going to be important as well. I did think it was cool to finally hear Tony Pollard kind of concede that he is feeling better post-bye, and that the further he gets away from that injury, you see him looking himself. If the Cowboys had the opportunity to run the ball as much as I think they wanted to last week, he would have had a big day on the ground. He looks so explosive and just himself. And what's even more encouraging to me is that he looks like that late in the season. He mentioned that later in the season. But also, too, he's still doing a lot for you in pass pro. And the fact that he's kind of built up that tolerance and that callus to do that, to me, like when you look at a running back position, he's becoming a total running back to me. And so he and Rico in this game, to me, have to be the tone setters. Tennessee muddied up the game.
Yeah.
They made it physical. They made it hard on Miami. And Tyreek Hill's availability is going to be important too.
Actually, let me look at that.
He was limited today. I'm gonna do some digging and see how limited,
Yeah.
because limited is we know it's different. Limited can mean a lot of things.
Exactly. Devon was limited.
I wonder if
Teron Armstead
they had a padded
limited.
practice today.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill, like you said, limited. Then they got a lot of guys limited in
They
practice today.
faking. Not all of them.
I'm like,
No, and not in that way, but there's some gamesmanship going on
yeah.
and stuff like that. They're resting guys just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the Cowboys do too.
they have to.
But Tyreek Hill and his availability is really important, because I think they're very dependent again on the verticality of their offense. Tennessee, once Tyreek went out, Tennessee was able to do some things that I think the Cowboys could too. But I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna play. But in what fashion? Is he gonna be limited? Is he gonna be?
Well, he went back in that game when he got injured against Tennessee. So I don't know. Yeah.
So,
Like, I think
sorry.
I don't know.
Somebody has to
I'm
go.
expecting him to play. I'm not expecting him
I'm
to miss
expecting
the
him
game.
to
He
play.
plays.
Okay, here's the thing. Put it in this perspective. If it was CeeDee Lamb, would CeeDee play?
Tater tot,
Yes.
probably.
And let's say again, you're looking at it from that perspective. Pretend the Cowboys have not clinched a playoff berth, and you're talking about CeeDee Lamb in this
He
aspect.
playing.
Exactly. So why would he not play? He's gonna play.
Yeah.
This is their biggest game, and I need to go back and read the playoff scenarios exactly for them. But I'm pretty sure with this win, they clinch a playoff berth.
They do.
Oh,
They'll be the
So-
second AFC team. to clinch a
Exactly.
berth.
So they need to win this game
Yeah.
to get into the postseason.
And
He's playing.
that's what some of the guys, when you talk about last week, and you said that you touched base with some of the gentlemen and stuff. One of the biggest things that I heard was that the approach last week, and when you're
Yeah.
going up against a team that is trying to get into the playoffs, you do got to change your approach, because the intensity. This is not a normal game.
different.
There's different implications. It's heightened, so you have to mentally and emotionally raise to the occasion as well. You got to either match them, or you got to be a little bit more nutty.
Yeah.
Well, either one.
Yeah.
And so the approach to this game again is important. I think establishing
start.
talk about it. Establishing
Early
the ground game
start.
is going to be huge. I think TJ Bass fares pretty well in that. If Tyron can't go, I'm gonna need Chuma Edoga to come on with it in the run game. I like him better in the pass game than I do the run game. But this team has to establish the ground game really quickly, especially with the amount of light boxes again.
Yeah.
If people ain't running the ball on these people and they only have 4 guys out there, unacceptable. You should be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
Tight end's gonna have to work too.
I have a question for you, Aisha. I kind of noticed how their front seven just like plays downhill. They crash downhill. Could this be a chance for the Cowboys to kind of like maybe make some plays behind them, get them caught lacking?
Yeah.
Be creative in the passing game a little bit? Is that,
Yeah, play action game
Yeah.
I think should be something that the Cowboys can take advantage of. Also, too, doing things having some plays coming out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Turpin, obviously, Turpin. Like I said before, the screen game, setting up some screen game, things of that nature. I definitely think. But two, again, the middle of the field is open.
Yeah.
The middle of the field is open. So, and I mean, sometimes they do. And again, that's why I said the chess match is going to be important between these guys, because sometimes, yeah, the middle of the field looks open, but they have a safety kind of looming,
Yeah.
and they're kind of there. So Dak, communication, his eyes are
They
going to
have
have
a
to be
spy
disciplined.
situation?
Yeah, they do some things like that, and I'm really curious to see if they're going to throw some different looks. But Jake Ferguson, you're going to
Yeah.
need him this game. You're going to need them to attack the middle of the field, and obviously, again, if you do get opportunities for big plays, you make them pay.
Yeah.
But to your point, yes, this is a defense that gets upfield. They're fast. Their linebackers play very well sideline to sideline. You have to find ways, especially with the motion and things like that, making them think. You cannot line up stagnant against these folks, because this defense they're taught to look at the quarterback, look at what's happening in front of them. If you're not doing anything to make them have to look over here or look over there, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong, and you're not going to beat a team like that. But establishing the run game, to me, is the biggest part. I think the passing game will come if you can get on the ground and run at those light boxes, because they shouldn't be stopping a run like this with no 4 people in the box. That's crazy. What are they? Who do they think they are?
Who do
you think you are? A good defensive team, I guess.
What do y'all want to see from Dak Prescott in this game?
I want to see him play confidently like he did this entire second half of the season. I just don't think, again, he got anything established enough to really do that in this last game. And I'm not going to fault him for that.
For sure.
Because there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on. And then plus you're going into, a game where, yes, rain wasn't as big of a factor, but it was a factor. You are barely coming off of the past couple of weeks of establishing a run. I understand what's going on here, but what I want to see from Dak, I don't want to continue to see him have to pass 400 yards in this game to win. That's what I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I don't want him to feel like he has to have 6 passing TDs and 400 yards. And no, what I want to see from just, I guess, the offense overall is I want to continue to see the run game pick up where it left off pre-Bills game. Which, again, you talk about since the San Francisco loss, they were averaging at least 100 yards per game. So I want to see that. I want to see it divvied up a little bit more. But overall, I just want to see him get in control of the offense again, because nobody was in control except the Bills last week. And just get that bad taste out of everybody's mouth.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely want to see him start fast. Easy buttons. What I want to see from him is for him to have control of the offense, but he and Mike McCarthy be on the same page.
Yeah.
They have to be. They have to have a counter for this. And again, the communication is going to have to be on point. Whatever his film study is this week, he's going to have to be sure. Yeah. Because again, I mean, respectfully, Vic Fangio was his kryptonite to some degree. He's not. I don't think he is now. I think Dak has put that to bed. But maybe he gets some revenge this game.
Yeah, when he was in Denver
Dressing
and
for
beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, and not only did he beat the Cowboys, he said this is the blueprint. And was very blunt about it. And again, that was years ago. I think they put that behind them.
Yeah.
But again, you're still seeing a defense that really. It's a lot of it is contingent on the quarterback and his play and how he navigates moving his eyes and moving safeties and being confident in what he's seeing, attacking whatever disguise and the disguises and stuff they throw at him. The receivers and Dak are going to have to be on point. I actually talked to CeeDee Lamb about it briefly.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to take our second break. You're watching Girls Talk Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
the Dallas Cowboys nominee for the 2023 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide. Help Tank raise funds for Dak Prescott's Faith Fight Finish Foundation by casting your vote on NFL.com/Man of the Year or tweet your support using the hashtag WPMOY challenge. Voting ends on January 8th, so go vote for Tank right now. Do it at this moment and every moment. Go vote for Tank.
I was thinking.
I was trying to make a little mixtape.
Go. That's what
I love it.
A little like.
No, bring up your point.
Right,
That's
but,
good.
So one thing I had listened to Cowboys break earlier, and they were just kind of breaking down kind of a defensive scheme that they run, and it's called Cloud. And I was listening to Brian talk about it and how he said they run it 26% of the time. Buffalo actually plays it over 30% of the time, which clearly it had a lot of success against the Cowboys last week.
Looming cloud.
Yeah, and he said it's usually you can recognize it on defenses because of the depth of the cornerbacks. And the way he explained it was there's one cornerback that will like play up and one that will play like soft coverage. And is designed to look like cover two to take away the deep ball, but also stop the run. And so, but you can attack the middle of the field and seams. And so I know they run zone about 75% of the time. Which the cows, oh my goodness, today is Thursday.
Okay.
The Cowboys have a lot of success against zone. So basically, that was just one of the things that I wanted to point out. So this could be a game where the Cowboys could have a lot of advantage in.
Come on, sis.
Sorry.
No, it
Cows, like what?
No. Some people, like, I know somebody that calls them, like, he says cows win. Like, he calls them. It's just, I know a couple people who do that. But no, in regard to the cloud coverage, it's a cover 3 scheme that people disguise as a cover 2, and it's effective if you don't want to give up the big play. However, to your point, it does leave you. It's a lot of space to operate, and it does require those DBs to have to cover a lot of ground. You can't do stuff like that if your secondary is not smart. So again, this is a very intelligent side of the ball. Speaking of, I spoke to CeeDee Lamb today very briefly because Big Dog had to get up out of there. But I was talking to him about just this secondary and where I believe they're susceptible. Expect to see CeeDee Lamb in the slot because, and again, I wanted to ask him, do you think that Jalen Ramsey is going to travel with you? And he was like,
I'm him.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm not like, and I like that energy from him, but we haven't seen Jalen Ramsey travel a lot. But the thing about traveling, too, is that when you travel, you change the whole defensive construct on that end. So if they don't, I would expect to see CeeDee Lamb on the slot against Cater Cowhen. I got to get these names.
I was struggling.
His name
with
is Cater.
Yeah, I was struggling yesterday with A-Chan.
A-Chain.
A-Chain. I was struggling, y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Kohu. It's Kohu. Like Kobu from Lion King. Oh, okay. But it's Cater Kohu. He's given up 6 TDs this year, and he's decent in zone, but baby, that man. That's probably why they don't run a lot of man, because they got a couple guys that's susceptible over there. But anyway, if that matchup does arise, it seems like CeeDee Lamb is up for the challenge. It's gonna be get your popcorn ready type stuff, because Jalen Ramsey is a dog. He's really scrappy coming back from that injury. Feels like he has a lot to prove. But if not, I definitely could see CeeDee Lamb moving into the slot, outside the slot, Brandon Cooks, some of those guys interchangeably trying to take advantage of that nickel corner there. So boop, 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 boop. Communication too, because like we talked about, they make you have to sometimes decide mid-route what you're doing. So this secondary, that's why I said Mike McCarthy and them guys he makes sure wide receivers have to read too, sometimes in the middle of a route. So these guys, and I'm talking to them, I talked to a couple of the guys, and they're like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, and I'm sitting over there like, bro, I couldn't imagine changing my body and my mind in the middle of a route. But what they do is impressive. That is another test for this wide receiver room. So Yes.
I want to go back to the middle of the field conversation.
Talk about it,
Sorry.
sis.
Because it's not just a battle that the Cowboys offense is going to have to face. It's also the Cowboys defense, because the Dolphins have thrown for 11.9 yards per attempt on passes up the middle of the season, best in the NFL.
Yeah.
Cowboys have allowed 9.9 yards per drop back when defending passes up the middle, third worst in the NFL. So this both battles on both sides are going to be in the middle of the field. Who can continue to get downfield using the middle of the field? And I think that's just really important to note in this matchup.
Yeah.
Well, I need some score predictions, ladies.
Oh my God.
Don't look
Please.
at me.
Y'all already knew it was coming. I don't know why we. even
I know,
had
I
this
act
conversation.
surprised every week. I'm like, what?
Like,
no way.
why
Do I
are
have
we
to?
here?
I don't
We
want
need a
to.
Yeah.
score prediction? What is that?
I say Cowboys.
I don't want to pick today. I'm sorry.
You freaking do it.
All right.
Sorry.
I got to do it on her.
Yes, I'm going Cowboys. 24.
Okay.
Dang. Dolphins. 17. Why y'all look stressed out?
I am. Extremely.
Jesse, get that camera off me. So petty.
Yeah, I mean, where are we going with this, y'all?
Go ahead. All you, girl.
I don't want to go last.
No,
The way she's going back and forth on the
I'm
boxes
your
is
friend.
hilarious.
I'm your friend, and I love you, so I want you to go first. Just in case we have to run out of time, I want you to get your point across.
I've
here.
never picked against the Cowboys. I'm going to pick against them today.
All right.
And I'm doing it, obviously,
For motivation.
Love that for you.
I guess. I call
Let
it
'em-
motivation. I'm not.
Light a fire under them.
Yeah. I'm going to say. I hate it. Just feels gross picking against them. Let's just say 20, 28, 24 Cowboys. I mean, other
shoot.
side. I mean, Miami.
That was going to be my score. but
That's my guess, and I
All right.
feel so bad doing this right now.
Nope, don't feel bad. All right.
Hopefully some
24
reverse psychology works.
24-20. Cowboys.
All right, bet. Well, that's a wrap for today's show, ladies.
They're gonna fire me up.
They're going to talk to you about it in the locker room.
I'm weak. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk,
gonna
presented by
tell you.
Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see y'all next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!